It is about capital. It's about cultivating the habits, the mindset, and the resilience necessary to navigate uncertainty with confidence. And while the message is urgent, it is not hopeless. Buffett has built his career on the principle that understanding markets and timing, coupled with patience and strategic foresight, can yield extraordinary results. This is an invitation to do the same, to act, to prepare, and to learn while there is still time. He's implicitly urging us to reconsider our approach to financial literacy, to deepen knowledge, and to apply it deliberately rather than reactively. That's why it's essential to subscribe to channels and resources that provide actionable insights, because information alone is not enough. It's the application of that knowledge that determines outcomes. The more equipped we are, the more precise our decisions, the more effectively we can navigate the ticking clock he speaks of. And while we dissect this warning, it's crucial to engage with the community around these ideas. Sharing perspectives, debating strategies, and commenting on experiences enhances understanding and accelerates collective growth. Buffett himself has always emphasized learning from others, from historical patterns, and from mistakes. Participating in that dialogue is a way to internalize lessons faster and more thoroughly than isolation ever could. Every decision we make now, every adjustment we implement, compounds in significance over time, echoing the same principles that have guided Buffett's astonishing success. This isn't merely theory, it's a practical call to audit our lives, our investments, and our readiness for future challenges. The clock isn't an abstract metaphor, it's literal in the sense that opportunities close, markets shift, and personal circumstances evolve. Acting without delay, maintaining focus, and committing to continuous improvement are strategies that safeguard both present stability and future potential. In this context, Buffett's warning aligns with the timeless wisdom of thinkers like Seneca, who urged us to value each moment as if it were a precious currency. The fusion of financial strategy, psychological awareness, and ethical responsibility is what makes this warning resonate so profoundly. It transcends mere market commentary and becomes a blueprint for intentional living. And while the economic landscape can feel overwhelming, it's also brimming with opportunity. Buffett's caution is not meant to paralyze but to galvanize, to provoke decisive action grounded in knowledge and foresight. Whether it's re-evaluating investment portfolios, exploring new ventures, or simply cultivating more disciplined habits, the emphasis is clear. Time waits for no one, and inaction is a luxury few can afford. The implications are vast, spanning individual wealth, family security, and broader societal impact. Each of these domains benefits from early, deliberate, and well-informed action, which is precisely what Buffett's warning seeks to encourage. In connecting these dots, it becomes evident that strategic foresight is inseparable from personal discipline, that patience without preparation is ineffective, and that vigilance combined with courage is the hallmark of successful decision-making. In other words, Buffett's message is simultaneously practical, philosophical, and moral. It challenges us to examine not just the markets but ourselves, our habits, our readiness, and our commitment to meaningful action. And as we process this, it becomes clear that subscribing, engaging, and participating in ongoing dialogue about these ideas isn't just helpful, it's essential. Knowledge compounds when shared, and insights deepen when tested through discussion. The urgency he conveys invites us to integrate these lessons into daily life, to create routines and habits that maximize the impact of every choice we make. And as we reflect, we realize that this warning is not limited to the elite or the already wealthy. It applies universally. Everyone has a finite window to act wisely, to prepare strategically, and to seize opportunities before they vanish. The clock is impartial, indifferent to status or experience, and its ticking is constant, relentless. Understanding this changes perspective. Small, consistent actions, informed by principles of prudence and foresight, accumulate into profound results over time. This is the essence of compounding in life, not just in finance. And while Buffett's warning is serious, there is also a sense of empowerment embedded in it. Knowing that action now can meaningfully alter outcomes provides clarity and focus. It's a reminder that while we cannot control every variable, we can control our preparation, our choices, and our responsiveness. That control is the foundation of resilience, and resilience is the currency of long-term success. The interconnectedness of time, knowledge, and action underscores everything Buffett conveys. Every moment ignored is an opportunity lost, Every decision deferred carries cost. Every insight unutilized is wasted potential. It's a sobering calculus, but one that offers a roadmap for those willing to engage. The richness of this perspective is further amplified when we consider the societal and technological shifts underway. Emerging technologies, changing labor dynamics, and evolving markets are accelerating the pace at which decisions matter. Buffett's warning, in this sense, is also about awareness, recognizing the broader forces at play and positioning oneself advantageously. Strategic foresight, therefore, requires a dual lens, one focused on immediate choices and another on long-term systemic trends. Combining these perspectives allows for action that is both timely and informed. And in reinforcing this, Buffett's voice is not merely advisory but catalytic. It nudges us toward reflection, dialogue, and decisive action. Encouraging viewers to comment, to share perspectives, and to debate interpretations isn't tangential. It's integral. Engagement transforms passive reception into active internalization. Insights become habits, lessons become strategies, and caution becomes empowerment. Each of these steps magnifies the effect of Buffett's warning, transforming urgency into opportunity. By cultivating knowledge, participating in discussions, and aligning action with both principles and timing, individuals can not only weather uncertainty but thrive amid it. Buffett's warning, therefore, is simultaneously a caution, a call to action, and an invitation. It's a multidimensional message that spans finance, psychology, and philosophy. And as we integrate it into our lives, it becomes clear that the ticking clock is not an enemy but a motivator. A reminder that deliberate, informed, and timely action is the cornerstone of meaningful progress. In reflecting on all this, the implications ripple outward. Decisions made today, informed by vigilance and insight, affect financial security, personal growth, and even broader community well-being. Each small step compounds, creating momentum that shapes outcomes far beyond immediate perception. The wisdom embedded in Buffett's words, anticipation, preparedness, discipline, courage, ethical awareness, is timeless, yet acutely relevant to the pressures and opportunities of the present moment. Engaging with these lessons actively, sharing perspectives, and applying them deliberately ensures that time is leveraged, not wasted. And as we navigate, Warren Buffett just issued a dire warning, and it's the kind of message that makes you stop and think about every financial decision you've made recently. Time, he insists, is not on our side, and the clock is ticking faster than most of us realize. Imagine for a moment sitting across from one of the most successful investors in history, someone who has navigated every market crash, every bubble, and every opportunity with an almost supernatural intuition, and hearing him say, "Act now or the consequences will be severe." It's not just a cautionary tale, it's a call to action, a reminder that waiting for the perfect moment could mean losing it entirely. Many people go through life believing there's always tomorrow, but Buffett's warning reminds us that the window for wise investment, for strategic planning, for making financial decisions that truly matter, is narrowing by the second. He emphasizes fundamentals, values like patience, discipline, and foresight, but also highlights an urgency that seems almost at odds with his usual measured tone. The idea of compounding, a principle he has repeated thousands of times, only works if you respect time. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and Buffett's warning seems to echo that sentiment. Delay, and the wonder becomes wasted potential. The markets are unpredictable, yes, but that doesn't mean paralysis is the answer. Buffett has always preached about being fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful, and now that philosophy takes on a new weight. We're being told, in subtle but unmistakable terms, that hesitation can be more costly than risk itself. And yet, this isn't just about stocks and bonds. It's about mindset. It's about recognizing patterns before they become crises, about seeing opportunity where others see chaos. This kind of thinking, this anticipatory approach, is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary, the billionaires from the dreamers. In fact, thinking back to the words of Benjamin Franklin, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest, Buffett's warning also nudges us toward self-education, the kind that allows one to act decisively rather than react helplessly. He knows, as Franklin knew, that knowledge is not static, it's cumulative. Each decision, each small step toward understanding markets, wealth, and personal finance compounds over time, if we allow ourselves to act while the clock still ticks. What makes this warning particularly urgent is that it doesn't come in the abstract. Buffett frames it in tangible terms, referencing historical patterns, economic shifts, and demographic changes that most casual observers overlook. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace. Interest rates fluctuate, inflation ebbs and flows, technological disruption accelerates, and geopolitical tensions create instability. The question isn't whether these factors will affect us, but how prepared we are to navigate them. Buffett's message is clear. Complacency is the silent thief of wealth. Even those who consider themselves conservative investors or careful planners can be blindsided if they fail to align strategy with reality. The clock he speaks of is not just about markets, it's about timing in every sense, the perfect alignment of preparation and opportunity. In practical terms, this means reviewing portfolios, reassessing risk, and perhaps most importantly, cultivating a mindset that is simultaneously cautious and opportunistic. There's a balance to be struck, and few have articulated it as consistently or as convincingly as Buffett. For years, he has been the person whose annual letters and interviews are dissected by millions, and when he speaks now, there's a layer of urgency that cannot be ignored. His warning may be subtle in phrasing, but its implications are enormous. It suggests a moment of reflection. Are we actively making choices that leverage our time and resources, or are we allowing inertia to dictate outcomes? In a world where compounding works both ways, delaying action can erode potential gains just as quickly as poor investments can. Some might be tempted to dismiss this as hyperbole, but consider the historical context. Financial crises have often been preceded by periods of overconfidence and inattention. Buffett's life and career are testaments to the power of vigilance and preparation. He's not merely pointing out a problem, he's offering guidance on how to confront it, emphasizing prudence while encouraging decisive action. And in that guidance lies a subtle invitation. For anyone willing to learn, willing to act, the opportunity is still there, but it's not going to wait forever. This is where the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius resonates, reminding us that time is our most precious asset, one we can neither reclaim nor extend. To ignore that truth is to gamble recklessly with a finite resource. Investors and individuals alike must internalize this. Every day of hesitation is a day lost in the pursuit of compounding not just wealth, but knowledge, influence, and personal growth. Buffett's warning also intersects with a broader societal reality. The economic landscape is shifting in ways that reward the prepared and penalize the complacent. Automation, artificial intelligence, global supply chain disruptions, and demographic shifts are reshaping industries at lightning speed. Buffett isn't merely cautioning against poor investment. He's signaling that the rules of engagement themselves are evolving. Those who recognize this and adapt accordingly can not only preserve wealth but potentially accelerate it. It's a call for strategic flexibility, for embracing the uncomfortable necessity of change. He's reinforcing an idea that echoes Sun Tzu. Strategy is not about rigid plans but about adaptability and anticipation. And yet, there's a deeply human element to his warning. Buffett speaks to the psychological traps that many fall into: fear, procrastination, overconfidence. These are the very forces that prevent action, that allow the clock to tick unchecked. By framing his warning in terms of urgency, he's also prompting self-examination. Are we disciplined in our habits, rational in our assessments, and courageous enough to act when it matters most? There's a paradox here. Inaction feels safe, but it is often the riskiest choice. This ties directly into the principles of behavioral finance, which Buffett has implicitly championed for decades. Recognizing cognitive biases, maintaining emotional equilibrium, and staying focused on long-term objectives are all strategies that mitigate risk not through avoidance, but through awareness and preparedness. And as the conversation turns inward, it's impossible to ignore the ethical dimension. Buffett's warning carries with it a sense of responsibility, a reminder that wealth is not just personal security but a tool that can influence the broader world. Acting with foresight and integrity creates opportunities that ripple outward, whereas neglect or reckless pursuit of gain can have consequences far beyond the individual. It's a perspective that transforms finance from a sterile calculation into a living, dynamic practice with moral stakes. For viewers here, that means reflecting on your own actions and decisions. Are your choices aligned with both prudence and purpose? Buffett's insight, distilled from a lifetime of observation and action, is as much about character as